What is up, all ClemsonTigers.com family? Welcome back to the Best Damn Clemson Show. I am your host, Cole Gerard, alongside.
I'm Ken Gerald.
So we are back for another episode. It's been a couple weeks since we got on here and did a show. I think it was the Pitt game, maybe, right before Pitt. And, got a dub there, beat Citadel. And then we played South Carolina this weekend. And, it was, going into that game and going into the week, this is the best Palmetto Bowl we've been a part of in a long time, top 15 matchup in Death Valley. We knew it was going to go, we knew it was going to be a dogfight, right. And it was, Clemson didn't come quite on top, had that final drive with a minute left. And I was like, can we do Pittsburgh all over again? And due to a deflected pass and interception, South Carolina ended up winning that ball game 17-14.
Yeah, it was over quick, wasn't it? That's one thing that people don't really haven't been saying, but inside the stadium, it was like the game was just kind of over before we even had a chance.
Had a chance to and I knew it, and I was like, here we go. We're driving,
right?
And it comes down to your midfield off one play. You're getting there. I was like, we're going to come down to a field goal, and they're going to block it or something. I was just like, score. And
how much did you want to go into overtime versus Lenore Sellers having 25 yards to go? To me, that was just a recipe for disaster. I mean, it felt like anytime they needed to play, it felt like in the stands, what was going to happen. It was just kind of one of those days. We got beat by one guy.
Yeah, and it sucks because, no disrespect to South Carolina, you guys won the game.
Yeah. Lenore
Sellers, you're from Florence. I'm from Hartsville, not far apart. I played the Lenore Sellers for 4 years.
Right.
Dude's a baller.
He is a beast, man. He is going to get being paid big bucks somewhere. If it's not Carolina, it might be in Tuscaloosa. It might be somewhere else.
And the thing is, South Carolina's got multiple guys they got to pay this all season. Yep. They're already looking at Dylan Stewart's 1 point something million. And I know Lenore's is a game cock. This is his third school he's been committed to, but somebody's going to come out there with some cash.
Yeah.
And
you got to hope, if you're a Carolina fan, that the fact that his brother just signed, today is National Signing Day, his brother signing there, you got to hope that's a little anchor that's keeping him there. But, I don't know. As talented as that young man is, I would be surprised if every single college in the country and throwing something at him. But switching more towards Clemson, how do you feel that our quarterback, number 2, played?
I thought Cade played very good, and a lot of people are going to – and I'm going to get to my 2 points about it. Cade scored 14 on the ground himself. We only scored 14 in the game. I feel like this is the best game our wide receivers played all year. Cade's passes, we weren't scared to take deep shots,
right?
50-50 deep balls that we hadn't seen since T. Higgins and guys like that. And we were coming down with them. Cade finished today 24 for 36, 280 yards, averaged 7.8 yards per pass. Had that one blatant ass interception at the end of the game. Finished with an 89.6 QBR.
You look at these two quarterback stats, and you almost wonder how 31 points were scored the entire day.
Literally,
that's 600 yards.
How was there not 100 points scored total?
It's just these guys making it happen for themselves. And I think, unfortunately, with Clemson's offense, you are exactly right. Our wide receivers, I thought, played out of their mind. Even when we were running the screen and RPO and kind of trickery, it was working. We were eating their secondary up. To me, I thought everything looked good except for the run game. I have no idea why we didn't incorporate other guys in the backfield besides Maffa.
And you can tell Maffa is not 100%.
Right.
He hasn't been 100% in a year or two. He's had that brace on his shoulder. Looking at Phil, he's a power back. He's going to get that 1 yard, up the middle. But I just don't think you run a halfback toss on 3rd and 2, and then you can't even find the first down marker, and you're going out of bounds.
Right.
And now I get it if he's hurt. If he's hurt, but then let's say Jay Haynes, you run up the middle, or let's run the Philly special. Let's do the tush push. Let's push K. I don't mind the jumbo package.
No, I don't either.
But push K. Get up behind him and push him.
That's exactly right. And especially on that 4th down that we had, deep in their territory where, 3 points looking back in hindsight, that's what we lost the game by. So it makes you wonder those coaching decisions and everything like that, and, creating turnovers and everything like that. We did it. How many points do we have off 3 turnovers though? 0.
And that's where South Carolina, came back. They took – I can't figure out the word. They took advantage of it. They had 3 turnovers early first drive, and we couldn't get any points off of it. And then, even that 3rd and 15, man, just get him down. And going back when they keep the field goal 4th and 2, I wish they would have went for it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're getting that first down.
Yeah.
And that would have been ball game, most likely. But we had a bunch of times, we had a bunch of opportunities to capitalize in the game. If Cade makes that good pass to Bryant Westco on that
3rd down, that's game over. Yeah.
But hey, no disrespect to two played his ass off. I think it's it's just insane his growth as a player over a year. The guy was getting criticized every game last season when some of it wasn't even his fault. He was getting criticized all offseason. First game of the year was Georgia, getting criticized. Going into week 2, this guy is playing against the world.
Right.
And he's the most improved player. And how he was not on all ACC yesterday, honors.
Fuel to the fire for Saturday. If you ask me, it's fuel to the fire.
Yeah. I mean, name three quarterbacks better than Cade Klubnik in the ACC. Obviously, we know Cam Ward's up there. We know Kyle McCord, Haynes King, but Cade's stats double those two guys other than Cam Ward.
I mean, look at where Cade stands at Heisman. Odds to those other guys.
4th or 5th right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. The growth that Cade has shown, like not only in the physical game, but his ability to kind of stay calm in those like situations. Like, I'm not too reserved from the Miami game down in Coral Gables where we just imploded on 4th down, for the game. So I'm increasingly more confident with Cade's decision making as it goes through. To me, it just feels like this Clemson team kind of has a lack of intensity through all 4 quarters. I think Dabo said it best, yesterday in the press conferences. This team has not played its best 4 quarters yet in a single game, and I think it's a scary combo when that happens. And it's just something we hadn't seen yet. We're not used to this lackadaisical kind of offense, and I think it's even more frustrating from a fan point of view because we remember the App State game where we lit it up. First 2 plays of the game to West go deep.
Had 175 yards right there.
So it's just we know what we're capable of, and I feel like we just feel like we're not opening the can. And I don't know if it's like a balance of the consistency of the play calls or anything like that, but it just it seems like we're waiting on that game to pop.
It sucks because the first half we were throwing it all over them. We were dominating. We were bullying them.
Yeah.
And then it's like the second half. Okay, we got a 14-7 lead. We're going to the 4th quarter. Let's just try to move the ball to 50. Drain the clock. Dude, punch him in the throat.
Right.
And we had plenty of time to do it.
I mean, if you go back at those Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson teams, we're up 14-7 on a team in the first, second quarter. It's all gas. We're lighting them up, putting it down the field to Justin Ross, T. Higgins, something like that. So it's just I'd like to see an increased urgency to this game, coming up Saturday. I'm sure we'll talk more about that in a second.
I thought the defense played well enough to win the game. We had a lot of stops. We just could not get Lenore Sellers on the ground. And I feel like we had plenty of chances to sack him. We had him sacked like 9 times. We were going for the neck. You can't go for the neck on that kid. He's huge, but he can flex around. Go for that waist, go for his legs, get him on the ground. I don't care what you have to do, but going by the neck's not gonna do it for you.
I mean, that's Cam Newton 3.0 right there. You know what I'm saying? We were out there trying to wrap him down, swing him if we could, but I mean, it's 240 pounds of pure athlete. So
and it sucked, but we're going to hear from Cade Klubnik after this game.
Cade, describe what you're feeling, your mindset following today's tough game.
Sad, man. Left it all out there. And at the end of the day, they made a few more plays than we did. Just sad.
Describe the atmosphere, noon game rivalry, and just what it all boiled down to, and just how it just transpired from as the game went on.
Atmosphere was great. Fans brought it. We got to finish. They were there for us. We got to finish for them.
How much confidence did you guys have going into that final drive? And I was seeing you at Pittsburgh. And what was kind of the feeling going into it?
Unwavering belief. Until the very last play, I knew we were still going to win. And just a bad play in the end. But minute 10, just telling myself this is what this is what you're made of. This is what you're made to do. Drove down the field and didn't get it done.
So there we heard from quarterback Cade Klubnik after that game, and you can hear it in his voice, dude. And it's like, we were that close. We're driving down the field, and then it all just went away, and it sucks to hear it in his voice. But I thought he played well.
He did. I mean, there's very few notes that you can make about his game and aspects that he could have really done better, I think, on Saturday. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I say we retire the all orange for a while, especially in meaningful games. I don't know what it is.
We can't. National championship games, anything. I think our best combo is white on orange.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a big fan of the white breeches. I think white breeches always just show that we're ready to go.
Heck, let's go on the ACC Saturday. Let's do white top, purple pants.
Yep, just switch it up. But let's save the all orange for that App State Week 2 game, or I think we got Furman coming to town next year. Let's throw all orange there. We need to repurpose that uniform and everything like that. Get some whatever's going on with it out of there. No, but I don't think Cade struggled at all. I think it's very hard to ask him to do more. You know what I mean? Obviously, we could use a little bit more points through the air and everything like that. But I mean, he was slicing it down there. You know what I mean? We scored because he improvised, saw plays decaying and everything like that, and just made something happen for himself. So it's like he showed up. Yeah.
Well, you heard the hurt in his voice. At that time, Clemson Nation was hurt as a whole. But a couple hours down in the night, Miami's beating Syracuse 21-0. Turn the TV off. I'm like, well, that's whatever. Pop-Tart Bowl. Here we go. So 2021 all over again. So close to this, so close to that. I get a text, and it says, "Are you watching this game?" I'm like, "What game are you talking about?" Don't tell me the Syracuse game because that's a blowout. He said, "Turn that damn game on." Here we are. It's 21-20 or 28-31, and then as I turn it on is when Syracuse had that strip six.
Yep.
And I'm like,
going crazy.
No shot.
How did Ohio State let Kyle McCord go? Especially looking back after them.
How the hell did Ohio State lose to Michigan?
Well, because they don't have a guy like Kyle McCord. I mean, Will Howard, they're paying him.
Bro.
They're giving a 10th grader the keys to a Lamborghini with that offense and everything like that. And it's ridiculous. They want a quarterback that's more on the run friendly, and that's translated into them not being able to get their guys, their receivers, their weapons, like Jeremiah Smith, the ball and everything like that. Meanwhile, you got a team like Syracuse, who we've known Miami has been kind of suspect all year, especially on the defensive side.
They should be a 5-loss team.
I mean, and the committee seems to think so too by their rankings last night. At least that they don't deserve to be in as of right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of suspect. There was a lot of criminal things going on last night. I thought. We lost to a good South Carolina team. I will say, if this was 4 years ago, we lost, it'd be a rough loss. It'd be pretty embarrassing. But we got to face the fact: South Carolina is a great program. Shane Beamer is a great coach. I have a lot of respect for Shane Beamer. There's a lot of cool stuff I saw on Twitter of him. Talking to David Seville, Dabo's wife. Their conversation, him and Coach Sweeney after the game. I thought it was pretty criminal. South Carolina was at 14 last night. In my opinion, I hate South Carolina more than anybody in this town, in this state, in this country,
besides
in the world.
I don't know.
Dude, but it also, I think Clemson should have been ahead of both Big 12.
Yeah, I definitely think that the committee kind of has its mind made up of the teams that can make it. I think that honestly, there's one spot up for grab, and I think Clemson gets it, or either Clemson doesn't, and it opens the door for another team. I think it's been pretty interesting that up to this point, the committee has seemed to value that loss column the most.
Literally.
And then yesterday came out, and Alabama is ranked ahead of Miami. See, I don't
agree with that.
See, I Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, they're kind of all picking the same fight. And I agree. South Carolina, besides Florida or Kansas, you would argue is the hottest team in the country.
I will say that it's easily the hottest team in the nation, and I agree. They are the hottest team in the nation. But it took Lenore Sellers a career day to beat us, and it still almost wasn't enough.
Right.
Not taking the fact away from them, they won the ball game.
Right.
But you're 9-3. Alabama's 9-3. Ole Miss is 9-3. You got the same records. They have the head-to-head against you.
And head-to-head has to matter, right? And
South Carolina fans think that the season started in November. Early football matters.
Right.
The season doesn't start in November. And, okay, if you're 0-4 or 0-5, but you go into November and you finish 8-4, should you make the playoffs? No. I don't care if you're on a 8-0 game streak. No, that's not how it works.
Right.
And no disrespect, but the college football playoff rankings weren't established this year. It's been going on since 2014. It's not hard to understand how it works.
I mean, you look at two of the ranked wins. South Carolina's kind of boasting their chest about Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll give you Vanderbilt was
Okay,
hot.
and
in the middle
stop
of the year.
saying. And look, I promise you, I'm not trying to take anything away from South Carolina. They came on our turf, they beat us. But stop saying you have all these ranked wins. 6-6. When Randy was 25th in the country, they're 6-6. That doesn't.
Right.
They're not. That's not a ranked win.
And this Missouri win now. Missouri is literally
How are they
seems
still
like
ranked?
because Alabama needs a ranked win. Like, look, why is Duke not? Duke is 9-3.
Or-
Duke's 9-3 with losses in overtime to SMU, Miami, and then Georgia Tech, who we just saw beat Miami and then take University of
Should've beat
Georgia to 8 overtimes. So Duke is not ranked because they don't want to give Miami a ranked win, and Missouri's kind of in there to give Alabama.
Well, it's all about that patch on your jersey.
Yeah,
If
it
it doesn't
is.
say SEC on it, then you're just
I mean,
terrible.
The fact that the ACC has to go out and post on its social media pleading for a case for if Clemson wins, there to be multiple ACC. Look, SMU is 11-1. They're one of 2 Power 4 teams that are unbeaten in conference play besides Oregon, who hasn't lost all year. Their one loss was at the beginning of the season to a BYU team who we thought was going to be in the playoffs to about 2 weeks ago. So it's just like,
I think if SMU loses to us this weekend, I think they still have that place, and I think Alabama's done.
I hope so, and I would really, really hope so. But like, would you say? I mean, Cole, what happened a year ago? Florida State went 13-0 and won their conference
Didn't make the
championship.
playoffs.
And so to say that it can't happen, I think is a little bit ignorant. I hope it won't happen. If you want me to be honest, I think if Clemson wins, the ACC should be considered for 3 teams because, I think that what Cam Ward and Miami has done all year, as bad as their defense is, I think that offense can run with anyone in the entire country if given the chance.
And, the playoff committee said it last night. If you're not
playing this
in
week,
the top 12 or you're not playing this week, there's not enough data to reevaluate. And I think that does hurt South Carolina because, like I said, I hate them more than anybody. So, but say we go in the ACC Championship. By the way, thank you, Fran Brown, Syracuse, for getting it done.
Fran Brown.
He should be on the sideline this weekend.
Dabo, I don't know if you can hear me, but buy him the best bath money can buy. He says that he does not shower.
Hey, he got to wash. I'm going to wash.
Best kind of soap possible.
But say Clemson's go to Charlotte this weekend, and let's say we beat SMU by 14 plus. Just say it happens. Okay. Clemson just beat top 8 SMU by 14 in the conference championship. Can we not go reevaluate South Carolina's win at Clemson, which was 7 days ago? I think that's just where it hurts them. But at the end of the day, head-to-head matters. You can't jump teams with the same record as you just because you played them in September.
Yeah,
like I said, the season doesn't start in November. But
if I was the Gamecocks right now, I would just focus on feeling the cheesiest. You know what I mean? I think that's
and I'm sure they're hurting. They got to be hurting bad, but it's just kind of hard to speak about it because you got to pray you keep Dylan Stewart a little. I mean, I don't think Lenore Seller's going to win. I feel like he's going to be a pretty.
He is, and he's going to have
guy.
If he can perfect his passing game, maybe if they can get Matezo Bennett and a bunch of those wide receivers more active, they have a heck of a wide receiver class coming in this 2025 class. If some of those guys can blossom, they'll have one of the most explosive, fun to watch offense in the country. I think the real thing will be to look for is this defense. This is the best Carolina defense we've seen in about a decade. And it's, it was about advertising that over the summer. I mean, I just kept reading about, these guys, they came back because they had a mission and everything, and you're losing a lot of them. So it'll be interesting to see how they can replace that next year coming back.
So I've seen a bunch of scenarios on Twitter, and, obviously if Clemson wins this weekend, they're in the college football playoff. But if Boise State loses and we win, I think we get the top 4.
Right.
But if we win and Boise State wins, I would think we would get to 12. But I've seen a lot of people think
that we'd get that instead of the Big 12 champion
because it's a better game.
Yeah, see,
better significance.
I don't know, and I think it's interesting, and we really don't know.
We don't know. You don't know what the committees do. How they should do it is who has the better record. I feel like, but they're all about money. What patch you have on your jersey, who has the most money,
right.
And if it's going to bring views to the college football playoff, they're going to pick Clemson.
Yeah, 100% over Iowa State. Come on, man, Arizona State. As good as those teams are, and I think those teams are good. If Arizona State gets in, you're hearing it here first. I think that's a semifinalist team if they get the right path and everything like that.
I like their coach, man.
I like their coach too, man. He is dealing with everything that they've had to deal with after all the transfer allegations and restrictions that they got placed on. Jaden Daniels, the Heisman, and offensive rookie of the year potentially in the NFL, leaving just not too long ago. They know how to deal with the adversity down there in Arizona State. I I just think the rankings were pretty evident yesterday. You know, we came in ranked behind both of them, but, you know, SMU is in the top 10.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much they're going to value that extra game that we play and everything, because it sounds like they're not going to, you know, take it into consideration for negativity, you know, for any means or any teams, except if probably they're in the ACC. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I wouldn't mind getting that 12 spot, to be honest. Because, I mean, who would you think is that 5? Penn State?
I just think, you know, Penn State, obviously, but I want to go back a little bit and talk about this Miami team. I think they should be in the playoffs. I do. You know, if Alabama's being considered at as a 3-loss team that's not playing on Saturday,
right?
You got to look at who you lose to. If there's such thing as good losses these days, like they're fighting for it, it's almost like a good loss is better than a good win.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech lost to Georgia, took them to 8 overtime, should have won the ball game. You know, they beat Miami, and then Miami loses to a 9-3 Syracuse team who was really good. Who was a really good team. First year Fran Brown, combo quarterback. And then you go to Alabama. Terrible loss to 6-6 Vandy. At the time, Vanderbilt was the worst team in the country, 0 anything. That's a terrible loss. And then you go and get beat by double digits to Oklahoma on the road to a hot seat. Brent Venables probably no more after that, you know.
Gave them their second win of the conference.
Second conference win. And then, like, you're looking at – and another thing that's hurting South Carolina's playoff hopes, you know, they talk about this SEC. You're in the SEC and your best one's Clemson. I mean, you can't say your best one's Texas A&M. They're outside the top 25 and just went on the road last week and lost to Auburn.
Yeah.
You can't say your best win is Missouri, who is terrible. They shouldn't even – I don't know how they're in the top 25 SEC.
And then you're going to what? Kentucky? You're just sitting there arguing for a Kentucky
Bola's
team.
Kentucky. Oh, but they lost to Georgia by 1.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's just grasping for straws at that point and everything like that. And, like, if you want me to be honest, out of those 3 SEC teams, I'd put in Ole Miss. I know that's a hot take and everything like that.
Oh, but hold on. They beat South Carolina by double digits, but that was in October,
Yep.
though. That was
So
in October. That
so
football
it's
season
irrelevant.
didn't start till
Yeah,
November.
That's exactly right. And even their losses, I mean, Kentucky did beat Ole Miss, a game where they came out a little flat-footed. You know, it took LSU a miracle and a change of quarterbacks to beat them in overtime.
And I don't agree. I don't think Ole Miss should be in either. It's kind of hard. I'm gonna pull up the rankings because you know I can't hardly remember. I was more worried about Clemson, Kentucky last night when it happened. This is why I mean, obviously it's a 12-team playoff this year. It's gonna be cool to see how everything works, but no 3-loss team. We're a 3-loss team. We're 9-3. No 3-loss team should ever be considered in the college football playoffs.
No, we don't deserve to make it. Like, unfortunately, like
We had the chance.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be happy about it.
Yeah, no, we're reaping the benefits of how they unfortunately formatted this playoff, given the conference champions and everything like that, kind of making it more like an NFL where you just play the scenario games in week November. And if you want to call that making games more meaningful, you can call that making games more meaningful. I know this is the first time in any college football season ever where we're caring about the 13th ranked team in the country.
Exactly, and if this was last year, your playoff would be set: Oregon, Penn State, Notre Dame, and then that 4th spot would either be Georgia or Texas A&M, whoever wins the ACC Championship. But obviously, you're in a new age, so it's kind of hard because you don't know who gets in, and it's just crazy. It really is. But we're gonna get into this ACC Championship matchup with SMU once we get back from this commercial break.
Ever find yourself needing custom gear that really stands out? At Carolina Printing Sports and Trophy in Hartsville, SC, we personalize everything from t-shirts to trophies, making sure your brand or team logo pops. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, or dazzling plaques, we've got you covered. Swing by today and let's create something unique just for you.
Ever wondered how to stay updated on all things Clemson Tigers without the hassle? I discovered the All Clemson Tigers website, and it's a game changer for any sports fan. From football to Olympic sports, they cover everything Tigers. I've been following their updates and the insights are outstanding. Check it out today and become the most informed fan at the game. Greenway Shuttles is a professional student transportation company that is currently hiring part-time shuttle bus drivers in Clemson. You must have experience and a GDL license with passenger endorsement is required. Pay is $18 an hour. Several positions and several shifts available. For more information or to apply, call 636-698-5780. That's 636-698-5780. Greenway Shuttles is an equal opportunity employer.
Are you wondering why Parton sheds and structures should be your go-to for outdoor buildings? First, their unmatched durability means each structure withstands the elements, ensuring long-term satisfaction. Second, the customization options cater perfectly to your specific needs, whether it's a chic barn dominium or a sturdy chicken coop. Lastly, they offer unique additions like shed ramps and detailed house plans. Upgrade your outdoor space today and experience the quality for yourself.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Best Damn Clemson show. We're going to get into this ACC Championship matchup. Number 17, Clemson Tigers 9-3 on the year, come in and play in first year ACC, undefeated in conference play, the SMU at ranked number 8 in the country at 11-1. Dude, I think this is going to be a great matchup. I think this might be the most viewed ACC Championship in a long time.
No, I definitely think it will be. I don't see a reason for it not to be. I don't see how this game disappoints. I don't think either team is just going to sit there and blow the other one out or run all over the other one, or I don't think it's possible. I think Kevin Jennings is a great quarterback. I think that what he has done for the program is otherworldly, but I don't think he has placed a Clemson defense like that.
Yeah. Looking at this matchup, 8:00 p.m. on Saturday night. K. Klubnik coming into this matchup, 258 for 402, 3,041 yards, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Kevin Jennings, this guy was, not even the starter at the beginning of the year. Was the backup, 196 for 294, 2,746 yards, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I think this is going to be a quarterback matchup.
No, I do too. I think that it's a great time for Cade to kind of exploit.
Shout out Ethan Darden.
It's a great opportunity for Cade to exploit kind of a suspect secondary in the first place. I mean, it's already been the weakness of this SMU team. They're coming in allowing about 240 passing yards per game, which is about 10th in the entire ACC. So definitely a chance for, let some of those TJ Moore, Brian Wesco plays run over. I think the biggest key for Clemson defensively, as good as our secondary has played and as well that Kevin Jennings is passing the ball, we have got to be able to take away their run game. This has been a Clemson defense that has struggled with the run game, kind of under the radar, that people don't really recognize as much. But we're allowing 180 rushing yards a game. You know what I mean?
Can't happen.
No, and this is a running back that's coming in with the 8th most all-purpose yards in the entire country. So they can get him involved in not just the rushing game where he has 1,100 yards, but it's the passing game too that he can come in and be a threat.
Looking at this, obviously Kate and the offense need to play together, throw downfield, get a lot of stuff over the middle of the field, get the freshmen involved, TJ Moore, Brian Wesco, Jake Brenning still, Antonio Williams, and I hope to see Tyler Brown out there.
Yeah.
And Dabo said, were you at the press conferences?
No, I wasn't there, but I watched, obviously.
So Dabo did say he was practicing. So, yeah. He's got to be back, right?
And, that's just something that you got to think about, dude. Antonio Williams, the Tyler Brown we saw last year, Wesco that we've seen flash 7, TJ Moore, dude.
This could be the best wide receiving room in the country.
That's what I've been saying, you know what I mean? It's hard to argue that it's not, at the very least, the most explosive.
Yeah. Talk about our running game. Obviously they got a great running game. I expect our defense to stop it. Get that 3 linebacker set away, Wood, Barrett Carter, Sammy Brown. Sammy Brown's been the best player.
Yeah.
Why he had a couple snaps in the fourth quarter, who knows?
It's kind of one.
Yeah, but it was a coaching decision, something they were running. I think on that 3rd and 15, if Sammy Brown's on the field, I don't know if Lenore still scores.
He
might be a little short.
Sammy Brown was he was one of the only guys that had any success, tackling Lenore Sellers. So yeah, the decision to kind of pull him out last week.
Blankton, whoa, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that decision from Wes Goodwin.
I think this could be a K Klubnik masterclass on Saturday. If you watch his press conference today, he was like, after the game, he's really sad. Didn't want to talk to anybody. He said he had a lot of family in town that would want to see him. They wanted to go do stuff, and he's just like, nah, I'm good. He said he sat in his car at the facility for like an hour and a half. Went home, watched the Syracuse game, turned it off, came back inside with 2 minutes left. He's like, we're playing football Saturday. So he's like, immediately did a 180. Kids ready to play football. And obviously looking back at this week, these guys don't want to go out like this Saturday. This is, especially those seniors going out like that in Death Valley, losing, happened 2 years ago. They have one more shot at it. One more shot. You don't get another one after that.
Nope.
It's make or break.
last ACC championship we saw was kind of the birth of K Klubnik. So, yeah, if we could get back to something like that, like a rematch of the one we had 2 years ago versus North Carolina, I think that could propel us for what could be a playoff run. What about you? What do you think about that? You think we got a chance to make a little run?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? If it's kind of hard to look at the seedings, but say we were to get a top 4 seed, we would be the 4th, obviously. Who would we get? It's kind of hard to look, but say we got that 12 seed, we're most likely matched up with like Notre Dame or Penn State.
Right.
Send us there.
Right.
Send us there.
If we get into that 3 or the 4, I've kind of run some possibilities of us getting in at 3, UNLV winning and everything like that.
Yeah, it could happen.
If there's a first round matchup of Indiana and Notre Dame, you know what I mean? Give me Kirk Cincinnati coach team 10 times out of 10.
Think so?
Yeah. And then if you give us Indiana, give me the Tigers.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
And
give me the Tigers. And then that matches us up with what? Potentially a Texas in the
I
semifinals?
I think we match up well. Everybody's beatable.
There's one team that I don't want to go play, and it's Oregon. There's one team I don't want to go play, and it's Oregon.
I'm not scared of Oregon.
And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad at that at all. I don't think
we're in the new day and age of college football where no team is too dominant.
Right.
Anybody's beatable on any given day.
As much as you like this NIL transfer portal, as much as you agree, disagree, however you think it's changing the game, you cannot deny the parity that it is bringing to the game. I mean, anyone can go out and beat anyone.
It is, but there's got to be some kind of cap on it.
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of cap to it's just you got to do something. You can't. I mean, guys, there's 17-year-olds getting paid $10 million who haven't even stepped foot in the locker room yet, aka Michigan, Dave Portnoy. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean,
why don't you suit up first? Hey, this kid has a great freshman year. He's coming after. I mean, this guy they could offer. No disrespect to who I'm about to call out right now. No disrespect, former Clemson guy. I mean, that's like offering $2 million to DJ Uyunglele and then him coming in and doing that. And we're like, dadgum, can I get that money back? I just think it's stupid. I think you should do everything on the field first, then earn it.
By the way, did you see the DJ Uyunglele? They said he is coming back.
Is he going back to Florida State?
Yep, that's what he's saying.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, prayers out to our maybe viewers in Tallahassee, anyone that's having to deal with that next year. Go and get a guy. Please go and get a guy.
I wouldn't doubt the Castellanos kid from Boston College going to Florida State.
Yeah, no,
there's going to be a quarterback better. This isn't last year where DJ's got that spot. I think DJ needs to go somewhere else, for his sake. Obviously it didn't work out. So I don't know where we could see a DJ at, man. Somewhere back at home.
I think he should
San Jose State guy.
I think you should go to the Oakland Athletics. I think they picked him up with their MLB pick not too long ago. Yeah, go win a ring with Shohei.
Wait, why not? Pitch. We know you can pitch.
Yeah.
Take the money and go with it.
Do something. It's just obviously football. I don't think it's kind of his cup of tea anymore or anything like that.
Yep. So let's get into these predictions for we'll go
conference championship.
Yeah, we'll go conference championship weekend. So we'll start off local. Clemson head to Charlotte, playing in its 8th championship in 10 years or something like that.
Yep.
Something like that.
11.
SMU.
I think it's our 11th. What are we? 9 and 10 in ACC championship games ever? I believe
9 and 10.
9 and 10 ever. I want to say we've only lost one ACC championship, 2009 in Georgia Tech, where CJ Spiller was the game MVP, even though we lost.
I mean 9 and 1.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Georgia Tech. That is true. So I think, but wasn't that vacated or something?
I don't know.
Win for them. But anyways, SMU coming in here at 2.5 point favor. Kind of surprised a little bit. I think it's all about us losing, but I don't know. We play well in Charlotte.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, SMU plays well on the road, though. They're showcasing.
They do.
They've won 10 straight on the road. I think it's the nation's longest streak.
I will say, I'm excited to see SMU.
I am too. We've never played them ever.
I want to see how their fan base is. I heard they got a great fan base.
I actually, so me and a buddy, we were traveling on a little road trip, and we got the chance to go by Dallas and through SMU's schedule or campus and everything like that in the stadium. Beautiful stadium.
Really
beautiful stadium.
Why don't we go play there, man?
Hopefully we do in the
Next
future.
couple years,
I mean, I don't know. Interesting enough, did you know that they claim the 1981 national championship as well?
Why so?
I don't know. It's some kind of metric. We claim it by the AP and coaches. So to me, the legitimacy of it and everything like that.
We won it.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's some Pony Express, voodoo thing that they're kind of trying to do or anything. But I did read the other day that they do claim the 1981 national championship. So I'm excited too. I think Dabo's excited. I think, I think that SMU has been the best team in the conference the entire season. I'm glad that they get to showcase what they're capable of and everything like that.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think that we're going to get a ACC championship that is kind of similar to one that Trevor Lawrence and ETN played against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Where it feels close, but the score kind of, is a little bit further away than
Hopefully
you
the
may
weather's
think.
better than that.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's going to be cold as all get out.
Cold.
I'll tell you that. But I mean,
Please don't
hopefully
rain.
that would be awful. I'm going to go Clemson 38, SMU 24. I think we win by 2 touchdowns. I think it's a lot of points that are scored both ways. I think that maybe we get out to an early lead. They start to battle back. But, I think we keep the foot on the gas, finally play our best 4 quarters of football. And I think the Tigers come out on top.
And you have no choice but to, like David said, it's not too late to play your best football. Put your foot on the pedal and don't let off.
We got 20 quarters of football separating from us and national championship odds perfectly. I think Dabo, he captured it best in the press conference. We were the first team in the playoffs to ever go 15-0.
Why not be the first 9-3?
I mean, dude,
Fran Brown in the front seat.
I drank all of the Kool-Aid when he heard that. That got me fully back into the team. And
Hey,
why not?
and it could all start Saturday.
Yeah. So
All start Saturday. Why not? Why not little old Clemson? Yeah. Crank up the Roy bus and let's go.
That's exactly right.
I was like I said, put your foot on the pedal, don't let off. We need an early start. Let's defer, let's get on defense first, get a stop, go score. With that being said, I think it's going to take a drive. I think we're going to have to see SMU's offense that we're working with. But if we just keep that play calling rolling and don't get conservative at all, give me 31-17.
Yeah, I like
Tigers.
I love it.
This defense, they know what they're playing for. These seniors, Barrett Carter, Trey Williams, Peyton Page, DeMonte Capehart, guys like that, man, this is it. They hadn't, DeMonte Capehart made the playoffs 2020. That was his freshman year when we played Ohio State with Trevor Lawrence. But other than that, this team hasn't seen a playoff.
Right. They're hungry.
They're hungry.
You got to imagine.
After that game Saturday, man, seeing South Carolina plant that flag on midfield, their fans coming on there. These guys are hungry.
Yeah.
And I fully let that anger out on SMU. Let it out. Let it out. Give me the Tigers, though. We're going to go to Atlanta. Oh, a guy says, I think Florida State gets Miller Moss.
I like that a lot. Miller Moss to Florida State. I think Miller Moss, if it were me, I would go to Notre Dame. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oklahoma, I think Jackson Arnold said that he's thinking about getting in the portal. So I think that'd be very interesting. Wisconsin, just a couple schools like that I think could potentially. Hey, Florida State getting them though. I mean, they need somebody. Why not go get a Garrett Riley guy? But yeah, going to Atlanta. We got a rematch going on between Texas and Georgia. Obviously, we know what happened last time. We saw the storm of bottles that came on the field because of some referee calls and everything like that.
Where was that?
Texas, Georgia.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So
I think it's gonna be a good matchup.
I think it's gonna be a good matchup too. Home game for the Bulldogs, who have not played their best football the past couple of weeks. But I mean, dude, when has Texas really impressed you all year? Not to step on any toes. Texas is obviously one of the best teams in the country and everything like that. But I mean, which game has Texas really sat there and set themselves apart from you, from the rest of the, SEC country or anything like that? I think they benefited off the second weakest SEC schedule this year, compared to Missouri. Obviously they got in that Georgia game, at the very end of it and everything like that. I think that Georgia's hungry. I think that it all comes down to coaching. I think Sarkisian is a great, great, great coach. But I think a Kirby Smart-led team that's been told that they're not good enough is the scariest team to play in the entire country. And I think that's what it comes down to. I think this Georgia defense is going to come out the exact same that it did last time, giving Quinn Ewers all kind of issues, not any time to throw the ball, kind of keeping him on his toes and everything like that. We've seen Isaiah Bond obviously progress his relationship with Quinn Ewers through the season and everything like that. But dude, I'm seeing all Bulldog. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I agree with you. I think I'm gonna go 38-17 Dogs.
I like that score a lot. I think I'm gonna go 31-20. I'm gonna make it a little bit closer. I think Texas might score a little bit in the garbage time and everything like that. But I don't see Texas winning this game, man. They just haven't really shown me anything this year to show that they can.
That's fair. We're going to take it to the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Arizona State coming in this game, a 2-point favorite against Iowa State. I'm going to keep it simple, man. I'm going Arizona State. I'm a big, huge fan of the program. Their coach, gritty guy. You know, he wants guys to come there. And like you're talking about the NFL and the transfer stuff on them, it's kind of hard for them. But, hey, they have a chance for a playoff, and I'm all for it. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. Obviously, looking at Iowa State, Rocco, I can't say his last name. It's a little weird. You know, coming in this game, he's got 3,021 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, QBR 69.7. That's not terrible stats.
No, it is not at all. I'm going to agree with you. I'm definitely going to go Arizona State as well. I kind of think what it comes down to is they are playing better football right now. I think if this was a game that was played week 4 or 5, I'd take Iowa State, no question. They emasculated a Baylor team, which I think will kill whatever SEC team they get lucky enough to play a bowl game with, probably LSU or something like that. But Arizona State's just playing good ball, man. I mean, Iowa State, no matter who they play the last couple of weeks, has kind of gone down. Granted, they have played good competition like Kansas State, Kansas, and everything like that. But, you know, Arizona State just, you know, embarrassed Arizona by 42 points, who has the best wide receiver in the country, in my opinion, in Terracotta McMillan.
Yeah. They
went and got a scrappy win against the BYU team to secure their ticket to the Big 12 championship. They beat ranked at the time Kansas State team in Manhattan by double-digit points. It's just a team that's playing great, consistent football right now. They're riding a high, and I think it's a high that they're going to continue to ride for the rest of the season into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. Score prediction, I think I'm going to take Arizona State 28-17.
I like that score prediction a lot. I think I'm going to go Arizona State 28. I think I'm going to go Iowa State 10. I think it's going to be a little bit of a blowout. I don't think Iowa State's going to be able to move the ball on that Arizona State defense as well as they have been. I think it's going to come down to turnover battles, and Arizona State's done a very, very good job this year enforcing them.
Yeah, coming up and another fun fact, the Power 4 Championships, a new team in that conference is playing in it. Kind of cool. You know, a lot of people are saying, SMU's running that conference. So, I mean, hey, Oregon's running the Big Ten. Texas is up there in the SEC. And Arizona State. Were both of them new teams in the Big 12? Or Iowa State was already
Iowa State was a Big 12 team.
True.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, Arizona State. So, yeah, what is that? How many is that? Four?
Four.
All four of
Yeah.
them have new expansion teams. Didn't Florida State literally sue the conference because of this? Because they didn't want to be in a conference with SMU. And, I mean, it's just kind of great to see for the integration point of view. I know a lot of teams like NC State who have never made the ACC Championship kind of scratching their head wondering how they get on a path like that.
Sucks for them. But coming up in the Big Ten Championship, number 3, Penn State against number 1, Oregon. Oregon coming in here at a 3.5-point favor. I think this game's going to go to the wire.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I do. I think Drew Allar, James Franklin, they know what's on stake right here. They know. They're fighting for a bye, obviously. If they lose this game, they don't get a bye.
Right.
Looking at Oregon, only beat Wisconsin on the road by 6 points. Really could have lost that game multiple times. I think this is two great teams clashing up.
I really, really, really hope so. I really hope this is just kind of a classic Big Ten game. Oregon adopts maybe running the ball and everything like that. I just kind of have a sneaky suspicion Penn State's going to Penn State.
Yeah.
I think this Oregon team was kind of struggling with not getting a lot of rest bye weeks. They were playing a lot of football, I think 10 weeks in a row before a bye week or something like that, kind of similar to the Commanders in the NFL.
Yeah.
They've had a week off, you know what I mean? I think that they are well battle tested. They showed that against Washington, making that not a game last week. I think this Penn State defense is one of the best in the entire country and has the ability to slow Jordan James in that rush game down. I just think, if Oregon quarterback can sit there, get Evan Stewart the ball consistently and everything like that, I just don't know if Penn State's offense is going to be able to match. They like to run these jumbo sets, 2 tight ends, trick plays. They'll have one tight end thrown to the other and everything like that. And I don't know if that'll work against a team like Oregon who thrives off of like a shootout kind of standpoint. You look at a team like Ohio State, who had one of their best offensive performances of the entire season when you think about what kind of defense they were playing in Oregon that first time in the Horseshoe earlier this season, or in Eugene, I'm sorry. I just think it might be too much for Penn State. James Franklin hasn't won a big game since 2016 whenever they were unranked and beat Ohio State. I just, I think that we're so ready to crown James Franklin. We're so ready to reward him. But he hasn't done a single thing to prove it. I think Dan Lanning is the best coach in the country. I think that he's going to have his boys ready to play. I think they understand what's at stake. I think they're hungry. I'm going to go Oregon 42, Penn State 17.
I like that. I'm going to go Oregon 35, and I'm going to take Penn State 31. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think Oregon wins this game late. I think Penn State has a couple more turnovers than they'd like. I think it's going to bite them in the tail, and I think Oregon's going to run away with this one in the fourth quarter and win the ball game to go 13-0 and secure that number 1 seed in the college football playoff.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Last conference championship game that really matters. What do you think about the UNLV Boise State game we got Friday night?
UNLV, man. I mean, we got to pull for them.
Yeah, crossing our fingers. I mean, they played a couple weeks ago, and it was 29-24. Held Ashton Genty to, I think, about 140 rushing yards on 30-something carries. So I mean, I think they know.
Boise State's only a 4-point favorite.
I mean, it's at home too, which is
Yeah.
beneficial to the Broncos, of course, and everything. But I mean, you want to talk about a team that knows how to beat this Boise State team, UNLV, and you don't think they're chomping at the bit, you know what I mean, to prove to that quarterback and running back or receiver, whoever it was that left in the middle of the season, that hey, look what you left. You left a playoff team.
Yeah. Yeah. And, looking at that game, obviously, we want UNLV to win, but at the end of the day, Clemson's got to win to even worry about anything that goes on. It's gonna be a nervous, and thank God that game is on Friday.
Right, gives us something.
So if UNLV does win and we win, we know we get that top 4. Please, I like our chance against SMU. I think we're very favorable in this game. I don't know how we're not favored, to be honest with you.
I think it's a little bit of pride. You know what I mean? I don't think that they can come
Being
out
that
with
this is basically our home turf. I mean, we're playing at home. This stadium is going to be all orange.
Right.
Let's be real.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure SMU has a great fan base, but at the end of the day, Charlotte's Clemson.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a great conference championship weekend. I really do. And hopefully our Tigers get it done and secure that auto bid in the college football playoff that, last Saturday we thought it was all over. But, that's the new day and age of college football, like I said. And we're thankful for the opportunity. And, we get to play football this weekend.
That's exactly right.
Let's talk about some college basketball. We're getting to one game before we wrap it up here. Clemson upset number 4 Kentucky at home last night.
Our 4th straight.
Was it 4th or 5th?
I think it's our 4th. I think it was Louisville, Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina.
That's right. Brad Burnell masterclass at the end of the day. We all knew, and it's almost like this isn't a fluke win.
No.
This is Clemson basketball.
And I think what really encapsulated it to me is we've won games like this before. Duke has kind of come here. We've won that. I mean, we won that game in North Carolina.
It's almost becoming it's normal.
That's the thing that I think made this win such a big win for our program. Is this felt like kind of similar to the South Carolina. They came in here and they beat us 2 years ago, and that's great and everything like that. This year, their fans came with the expectation to win, and when you're an underdog and you have the expectation to win and you win, that is a culture, that is a program changing win, and I think that is exactly what Clemson did against the Kentucky Wildcats last night.
And we really we didn't shoot all that well.
No, I mean, Ian Shefflin, I think, made 1 out of the 7 or 8 threes.
Yeah, he shot a little too many threes. But, hey, at the end of the day, his boards were insane. Miles Oliver getting down there. I was a big, and I'll say this, and I'll take it back. I was a big Victor Locken criticizer week 1.
Right.
That kid's great.
I think if he just polishes up his offensive side of the
he
ball,
will be a ball player.
Problem, man. Because
he's dirty down. I mean, he had a couple blocks. He had like 4 or 5 blocks.
I mean, his blocks are. I don't want to say why we won the game. Because it was just a gritty masterclass from everyone. I mean, the transfer from Boston College.
Dude, Jade Zachary is a freaking stud.
I mean, dude, I thought about ordering his jersey while I was still sitting there in the middle of the game. The plays he was making. Chase Hunter, we're used to him kind of being our lead guy on offense. He was sitting there, diving for balls, deflecting passes and everything like that.
I think the most improved guy, obviously Chauncey Wiggins, insane. Shot well last night. Dylan Hunter's very improved.
Hunter, man. And
very improved.
It kind of seems like you got this confidence about him this year that, he goes.
He's not scared to shoot the ball either.
At all. And you can tell. You can tell.
And I think our best defensive player on the court, obviously Jaden Zachary, a graduate coming from Boston College, but I'm a huge Dale Jones guy.
Yeah.
Huge Dale Jones guy. Defensively, when he's out there, you're going to get something popping.
Yep.
And I'm just glad to see, we led most of the game. We had a 7-point lead coming in at half. It ended very quickly, and we still found a way. We kept finding a way. Shout out Chase Hunter making those 2 free throws at the end of the game to seal it up.
70 points. He locked in the Bo-Berry biscuits for the guys.
Yeah, thank you, Chase. I do think the ref show was terrible on both sides.
Yeah. I think that Clemson, honestly, I think we got a little lucky on defense. I think that they could have been a lot more penalizing of how we were playing Kentucky's big man and everything like that.
But, sorry, guys. I don't know what that was going on for. Yeah, but like you said, I forgot about. Okay. We'll be right back from a commercial break.
Ever find yourself needing custom gear that really stands out? At Carolina Printing Sports and Trophy in Hartsville, SC, we personalize everything from t-shirts to trophies, making sure your brand or team logo pops. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, or dazzling plaques, we've got you covered. Swing by today and let's create something unique just for you.
Greenway Shuttles is a professional student transportation company that is currently hiring part-time shuttle bus drivers in Clemson. You must have experience and a GDL license with passenger endorsement is required. Pay is $18 an hour. Several positions and several shifts available. For more information or to apply, call 636-698-5780. That's 636-698.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. I'm getting spam called. And if you get called on here, Bluetooth through the audio board. So sorry about that if you can hear me now. But yeah, Cannon, Brad Brownell gets a huge win at home, and it's almost like it's normal for him. People weren't even fired last year. I was never a fire Brownell guy.
I was prematurely. I'm thankful we didn't and everything like that. I think that as a Clemson fan that has known that Brownell was here for 13 plus years, I think that our lack of tournament experience, going and everything, a little disappointing. But, these last couple of tournament runs that we've had and the teams that he's been putting together, I was talking to a buddy this morning, he kind of pointed out it's eerily similar to what Scott drew at Baylor. You know what I mean? His first 15 years of kind of mediocrity, winning a couple games against Kansas, some Big 12 opponents and everything like that, all the way up to the point to where he created this stable, recruiting cycles and consistent teams. And if you want me to be honest, I was a little nervous for Clemson basketball coming in this year after losing PJ Hall. He's been our guy for the last 4 years, but Brownell has put on coaching masterclass after coaching masterclass this season thus far, holding opponents like Penn State, Boise State, Memphis, Kentucky, obviously, last night to about an average of 23 points less than what they're averaging. I mean, his ability to just slow the game down, make teams play our game, I think is what is separating us from these teams.
Yeah, and it's good to see, because in recent years, that Brad Brownell chokes those games, and I'm going to be honest with you. But now, in this day and age, Brad Brownell is a top coach in the ACC.
I agree with that.
Top coach in the country.
Yes.
And, Little John's a hard place to play. You heard the announcers last night. Little John Loud is a real thing.
Hey, people forget that NCAA basketball 2010, Clemson was the number 2 hardest place to play in the entire video game.
Yeah, that's true.
Little John has never been an easy place to play, and I just think that, people forget about us a little bit. But, dude, I think the basketball trajectory at Clemson University,
I think he's here to stay, man.
I think it's on an all-time high, man.
Brad Brownell's recruiting classes have been the last couple of years.
Yeah,
and like you said last night, why would you not want to come play here? We have the top facilities, looking at football, looking at baseball, guys like that. Like, why would you not want to come be a part of this athletic program? And, I think these guys see it now, and we're getting some top recruits. And, I think Clemson basketball is here to stay. And I think build that man a statue. I will say, man, he's won some big games. He's proven himself. A lot of people that gave up on this guy 8 years ago, and here we are in 2020, going into 2025, and Brad Brownell's doing crazy things. But like I said, we're going to wrap it up here. Clemson's taking on SMU in the not the SEC. We're not SEC guys around here. ACC Championship in Charlotte on Saturday with college football playoff implications on the line. Obviously, Clemson wins, they're in. If they lose, they're going to the Pop-Tart Bowl or something like that. But I think SMU is a lock either way, and it should be like that.
You would hope so.
Yeah, you would think so, and you would hope for your conference. Sucks that Miami's out, but hey, the committee says so. So, we we need 2 ACC teams in to fight for that conference talk. You know, obviously, like Deb said, this is a Big Ten SEC invitational. So we'll see on Sunday. Hopefully we see our Tigers' names on the screen, which I think we have a great chance, and I think we match it well with SMU. So I'm excited. But we will be back next week, hopefully talking about our bid in the college football playoff.
We see who we're going to play, highlighting some of that and everything.
You know, and, you know, looking at basketball next Saturday against Memphis and Little John Coliseum at 11 a.m. I mean, come on. Who said that?
I don't know. Maybe Penny Hardaway and the boys need to get out of there quick or anything like that. Memphis beat UConn this year already. That's
dude, UConn's
falling apart.
Very beatable.
UConn, right? Who hasn't beaten UConn this year?
Who has? And he already said he's not going back to the Maui Invitational. So who knows? But as always, I'm Cole Gerard.
I'm Cannon Gerald.
And we will see you guys next week.
Have a good one, guys.